Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Texting. It's your girl, Shade. Hey, bitches.
It's your girl, Charles Pinky.
I didn't know we were singing, and I'm not prepared. It's Glenn. Oh, I gotta sing.
That was melodic.
What? Okay.
Let me know. Can we start? Oh, awesome. All right, we're going to jump in.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Texting. We're still in the studio, so if you're listening, make sure you check out the YouTube. Bed-Stuy Brat is here. Chelsea is in LA, and we're in person at Full Court Studios, and we're missing her. But I don't know, if you're a patron, you might see us gallivanting around Europe together. I don't know how the order of things is gonna.
The content's gonna roll out. Though. You're gonna get some stuff.
You're gonna figure it out. But if you are watching, you will see we have a lovely guest in the building, and we're so excited to have you. Number one, gorgeous, smile,
cheekbones,
lashes, hair,
jawline,
beauty, hair, body,
brows,
face,
complexion, teeth.
I'll take it all. Thank you so much. I receive all of that into my spirit. Yes.
Yes. We have Leslie Robertson of the Black Beauty Collective. You are not only a beautiful face. You are a boss, okay? Founder and CEO of the Black Beauty Collective, which is a Black-owned beauty retail store and online marketplace featuring exclusively Black-owned brands. I have so many things to discuss with you about this, but first I just want to jump into our group chat. I mean, our Reddit reply, because we already told you, like, we're pulling you in.
Yeah,
Chelsea's
she's
not
here for the whole thing.
So you're here for the whole thing. You're here for the whole thing.
If there's new listeners,
yes,
and
new
just to like restate it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Black Girls Texting, right? So playing on the theme, if you got a text that you were just like, oh, what is this? I'm not even entertaining this. You're going to leave that on red, right? We're not even fooling with that energy. But if somebody hits you up with something that you're like, oh, I'm intrigued, I'll reply, right? So for this on Reddit reply, your on red is something that you are just like not fucking with, essentially. And what you're replying to is something you're into.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely replying to Beyonce's dress that Brandon Blackwood designed.
Yes.
I was 100% all over
right,
that.
I'm going to go look at it.
I have the photo.
It's gorgeous.
You have the photo?
I believe I have the photo. And I thought it looked like it because I think he designed a pair of shoes that have that same kind of, oh my God. This
Whole
one?
outfit, amazing.
Oh, wow.
Stunning.
Sickening.
And she
On this like
bodied
disco ball
it. Just,
background.
Yes. He killed it.
Good for Brandon. Good for Brandon.
Because
Speaking of
Beyonce is good for that.
brands.
Yeah, she
Yes.
will support a
She'll
Black-owned
definitely
brand.
support.
Yes, I'm 100% with Issa. We support all things Black.
Period.
And he killed it.
All
Beyonce
day.
wore it. He knocked it out of the park. We're all happy. So I'm definitely reading that. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I am not a New Yorker.
Okay.
So I'm a Chicago person.
Okay.
I am definitely leaving this New York traffic on red, honey. Keep it, knock it out. You know what? I'll just walk. I caught the train for the first time today.
You did?
I did. I was like, Lord, get me to where I got
Because
to
you'll
be.
be sitting in the traffic for so long that, like, you might as
Just
well
like,
have
let me
gotten on
out.
the train.
Yes.
Literally, let me out.
That's great to know. I learned today. I put these comfortable shoes on and I moseyed on over
Yes.
to the train.
Yes.
Yes. Keep your traffic. Good day.
What was
We're
that
leaving it.
experience like for
The train?
you?
You know what? It was pleasantly quiet. Everyone was happy.
I'm over here scared, like,
Like, oh God, what did that city? What did that city show you?
The city came out and everyone knew that I was there. So they were really quiet and
Respectful.
welcoming.
They kept it cute.
They were respectful. They was like, Leslie's here. We're going to be great today. And that's exactly what it
'cause
was.
listen,
It was a peaceful ride.
it could have been something else. How many stops did you go? Do you
Ooh,
recall?
we had to do at least, I think we did a transfer.
Oh.
We did maybe like 5-6 stops. Everybody was chill the whole time. I was like, yes, New York with the public transportation. I'm here for it.
I'm truly shocked. I was on the train earlier today.
I'm
like,
honestly appalled.
I was just waiting, like, all right, any minute now.
Wait, when are we gonna get-
I called you.
Was it today?
Yeah,
I
you were
called
like,
you
are
and
on
I
the
was like,
subway?
are you on the train? Are you okay? Oh my goodness.
That is not
Yeah.
my golden move to catch a train. However, today I did. And
Yeah.
it was a pleasant experience.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
I'm so
New
happy.
York.
Oh, thank you, New York, for being respectful and not embarrassing us.
Everyone was super chill. They were minding their business. They were living their best life.
I
I
thought I
loved
was
it.
going to see a Showtime show today, and I almost was like, oh my God.
You wanted the performance?
Kind of,
Girl,
sometimes
no.
I am into
Little
it.
action, little action
Yeah,
Jackson.
Oh my goodness.
You ready for yours?
You want me to go? Okay. I'll start with my reply. I'll start on a positive. No, I'll start on a negative Nancy, and then I'll end on a positive note. I am leaving family drama on red. I'm in some like weird family drama right now that is just so odd, and I think as you get older, you're more aware of what's going on and people pulling you in different directions, and then like somebody got beef with this person, so now this side of the family all has beef with the other side, and I'm like, what? Wait, I don't want to have beef with anybody. Like, I'm trying to stay out of it. And I was talking to my dad about it. He was like, well, what's gonna happen when you have to pick a side? And I was like,
I don't
want to pick a side. Like, I'm not interested in picking a side. So yeah, just lots going on. I'm not gonna air my family's full dirty laundry out here, but just always something. Like, there's a lot of women in my family, a lot of alpha female energy. So there's a lot of headbutting. And I'm just like, my grandpa has a lot of sayings. And one of his sayings is, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it.
Oh, yeah.
Smart man.
And I'm like, can I be Bennett? I don't want to be in it. Like, let me just. So I'm fully leaving that on red. And I'm hoping that the adults, even though I am an adult, the older adults can reconcile and just let us be.
Yeah.
Just let us be. I know there's layers, there's history, but let's just love each other and just get back to that. So for all my aunties listening, yes, I'm talking to you. My aunties be listening. What I am going to reply to is honestly the just beauty of Black women. So I was able to make your event last night in New York, and it was so lovely to see all these Black female entrepreneurs. And the room just feels different. It's just welcoming and warm. Everyone's kind and everyone's complimenting each other and everyone's loving on each other. And just the innovation of Black women. Like, we are just always the blueprint, and we're always coming up with new things, and we're always like, I think, just ahead of the trend. But unfortunately, there's just lack of access to capital or lack of knowledge that like limits us in a lot of ways when it comes to being able to create and being able to see, women live out their dreams. I talked to one woman who's like, I'm a neuroscientist. I want to, Flore.
Yep, Flore.
She's like, well, I'm a neuroscientist, but I started this hair care brand. And I'm like, what? Like, it's
sickening.
Truly
so dope.
Just like things that we're running circles around people.
Literally.
And it gets me going, and it puts me just in a positive space, especially when I'm like grinding it and I'm like seeing my sisters do the same thing and all support one another. So I'm fully replying to that. It was so lovely. Came home with some goodies.
Yes, and I'm going to run up in that bag.
I'm ready. Yes. I told you I brought some goodies back for you, but man, it was so lovely. So thank you for creating that space and the space that you created. We'll talk more about it. But yeah, I'm fully replying to that.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you came.
Yes.
And the synergy is always on point. Black women are so dope. I mean, like 110% in. And that's exactly, as I have this in mind, that's exactly what I want, is for Black women to walk in and they're like, oh, welcome home. You know, that feeling of being a part of something bigger than yourself and being welcome and seen and valued and all the things. So I love that you're definitely reading that. I love all of that.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna reply to two things this week. I don't even have nothing to leave on red.
Oh, you're positive.
Just positive. Well, so yesterday I was getting my hair done really late, and I was just catching up on Power. Do y'all watch Power? Oh my God.
I don't watch it. I did the first, when it was actually Power.
I was going to say, it's too many. Power Book 17.
Like when it was Power. Like
right.
Yes.
First
Right.
seasons.
It's technically Ghost Revenge. I don't fucking know.
Ghost Resurrected.
Ghost Resurrected. I don't really know what it's. Power Book 12. There are literally 15 narratives in this story. There could be like 10 shows within the show, but I was gagged. I was in the hair salon like my stylist was like, is everything okay? I was like, they just did something so crazy. Like, I was so shook. Like, it's insane. I know some listeners are out there that are keeping up. We're going on to episode 10, and I am I am just so entertained thoroughly.
Okay,
I
maybe
suggest
I'll
y'all
jump
catch
back
up.
in.
I know. I feel like we got a lot of catching
You have
up
to.
do.
I wish I was watching it with a notepad because there's a lot to keep up with. There
Not a
definitely
notepad.
no. There's definitely
The
storylines that I'm
storyline is
forgetting
deep.
are happening, but like, wow, iconic. And I'm also gonna reply to just me being in this premium state of pre-travel maintenance.
Yeah.
You know, the nails are done, the lashes are fresh,
100%.
the hair is
Is
fresh.
this gonna be your new thing? You're just doing the milky, like you're doing.
I'm doing like the milky nail.
But they so cute.
You know, I was doing like a lot of nail art, but my nail tech is in the city, and just going there was just taking too long.
I thought she lived by you.
She moved to Detroit, so then I had to find a new lady,
Oh.
and I was taking Ubers there.
Who are you
It made the
seeing in the
whole.
city now?
Her name is on Instagram Manicure AS.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
You know,
the nail text.
She's
of
like one of those
Instagram.
girls.
She's one of the girls.
She's one of the
Okay,
dolls.
cute.
Yes. But yeah, I love the pre trip glam. Our co-host Chelsea, she actually posted that like before you travel, it's like giving the Olympics of prepping, of appointments.
Absolutely.
You know,
It is.
You got to get luckily, we're not going on a real tropical trip. I would have had to wax my whole
That's
body
right.
and like all the things.
It's
you know,
a lot. But it's
Yeah.
also fun because then you're like,
Ooh.
bad bitch loading.
Right.
Fabulous. Boom.
Right.
Down.
I'm here.
Down. Yes. Fabulous. You look great.
Fabulous.
I
You
love
do.
your nails too,
Thank
even
you.
when I
Oh,
don't know
me too.
They're cute.
Chill.
We're ready. We're
Yes,
ready.
for all of that.
Yes.
All right, y'all. It's time for the group chat.
Yes.
Well, that beautifully transitions us because the Black women we're always doing the things, but we have a segment on the show. It's called Black Girl Doing Shit, and we highlight just a Black woman that's killing it, inspiring us, and that is you this week. Yes,
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad that we were able to connect in person. You were our Black Girl Doing Shit.
Yes.
Before you were even
actually,
on the
absolutely.
show, like
my
we shouted
gosh.
you out
Yes.
on a totally separate episode.
Yes.
So we manifested you here on the
Oh my
couch.
gosh, you guys totally did. I appreciate that. I was like, yes, minute 38. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love all of that.
Oh
Yes,
my
I
gosh.
appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we're excited to hop into the group chat because there's lots we want to talk about. We want to talk about the Black Beauty Collective, but also just get to know you. I did some digging.
Yes.
You've been in the press.
Press.
And I'd love to learn more about your background because I read that you worked in corporate for 15 years.
Yeah.
You did modeling.
I did.
And now you've done this career pivot. And actually on the last episode, I don't know what order this will come out on, but what we just recorded, we talked about, you know, your life is really these chapters.
Yeah.
Like the book keeps being written and
Yep.
you don't have to stay confined to one space.
That's right.
So I'd love to, you know, hear about that experience and your 15 years in corporate to now.
Yeah. 15 years in corporate. So I fell into the generation. So just to give you guys like a bit of background, I was a veteran. I was an Army vet, and then I finished undergrad while I was in the military, and I got out, got my master's degree, and I went straight corporate because I grew up in a space where that said you had to get the responsible role, you know, do the responsible thing, go to college, get a good career, and I fought hard to have that, and that's what I did. I worked in corporate. I decided to go into talent acquisition some years ago because I wanted to control the flow of candidates that were coming into the company, right? Because now you have control in diversifying teams and to give minorities, women, veterans, people with disabilities, whomever, opportunities to align with some of these roles. And so that's what I've spent most of my corporate career doing is diversifying teams. And I'm super passionate about it. I love it actually because a lot of times in our community, we don't have the opportunity. We don't have the visibility. We don't have anyone speaking for us on the other side of a corporation.
Yep.
And so I wanted to be able to fill in that gap. And that's exactly what I did. And I trained other recruiters on how to do that too and how to identify the untapped markets of talent. And so that's what I did in corporate. Somewhere along the way, I actually finished graduate school while I was right during the recession with the housing market, 2010. And so one day I decided I was going to do what we did in the 2000s, 90s, walk around and actually hand out my resume to corporations, right? This is like 2010. I printed out resumes, I dressed up, and I went into Chicago to hand out my resumes. And I ended up in an area where there was where Elite Modeling Agency was.
Oh, wow.
And I saw it, and I walk in, and I was like, hey, I was like 26, 27. I wasn't like young. I was like done with college. I had been through the military. I was like all this life. I just got done with grad school. And I walk in, and in true model fashion, the girl behind the desk kind of was like, can I help you? Like, what are you doing here?
Right.
And I go, well, can you ask one of the agents to come down and meet me, right? At a modeling agency, 100% in. I'm like mad corporate. I got the suit on, the button up, the fold down collar, ponytail bun in the back. I'm like corporate, right? And I'm like, can you ask one of the flats on? I'm talking 100% looking for a job. And I'm like, can you ask someone to come down? She's like spiked hair, like 100%
Right.
model, edgy, chic.
Right.
She's all of the things you imagine, right, at an agency. And she goes, we do casting calls on, and she rumbles off the casting calls. And it's like a Monday. They do them on Thursdays. And I go, well, do you think you can just have someone come down since I'm here? You know, right? And she's like, and she calls up. Literally, she calls upstairs, and the agent that answered was new. She came down, and she took some pictures of me and went back up, and I left because she didn't give me any follow-up instructions. I left the agency, and my phone had been on silent. I had made it all the way back home, and I had 3 missed calls from the agency. They were like, we want to give you a contract. Like, where did you go?
Wow.
What?
And that's how I ended up getting my modeling contract. 100% serious. I wish I could make this up, but I had just got out of the military. I was like super buttoned up like a soldier. Still, like, good afternoon, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, sir.
Yes.
I was like super buttoned up just like a soldier. 100% like corporate, military, professional. My agent was like, where have you been? And what the heck are we going to do with you? But you're gorgeous. Literally. So they start sending me out. And ever since then, I've been like peeling back the layers over the years.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, how did that kind of shift the way you show up in rooms?
Yeah. You know what? I had to become, because I didn't grow up like I am now. And so I grew up closer to that military, that professional, that this is how you're supposed to show up, this buttoned up way to be. I grew up more like that versus being like free and real easy, like models. And so I had to kind of learn how to be this way and to show up softer and still command a room.
Yes.
But be approachable in a sense, and still be able to do that. And so I did corporate, and I would take days off, and I'd go do my modeling gigs or sometimes casting. For a while, I worked downtown Chicago, so the agent was downtown too. So I would run during break or my lunch break to casting calls, jump in line, all that jazz. But I've been doing it so long now. I do a lot of catalog. And so your Van Mar, your Coles, your whomever, pretty much anybody who has a catalog, I've done work for them. I do a lot of that. Now they just hit me up like, hey, we booked you for, I don't do the casting calls anymore. And because I really don't have time to, but I do a lot of I just got booked for like a client. They're like, hey, Kansas City in like a couple weeks. I'm like, sure, why not? And so it's like totally a hobby. Is that a thing? To have a modeling contract as a hobby?
I mean, when you look like you, yeah.
Totally a hobby. So yes, that's how I got into
that.
it. And so that's what I've been doing, and I've been in corporate, and I've worked for a lot of the big boys, like your Ernst & Youngs, your Wayfair, CNO Financial, and most recently Meta.
Okay.
And I've spent my years diversifying teams, largely working on non-tech roles, so like marketing, finance, all those kinds of roles. So I know a lot about a lot of stuff, just different kind of roles. What does that mean? What kind of work do you do? And just building out my network of folks. And so between the two, I have, and I've also been an entrepreneur in other facets throughout my life. I owned a company called The Velvet Collection, and it's a luxury linen rental company. And it's because, and I would do events and provide my linen and all that jazz. Yeah, for events. So your galas, your birthday parties, all your upscale events, all the things that are fabulous that take
these lives
it
you've
up
lived.
this notch, right?
The chapters.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I 100% agree with that. Your life is definitely in chapters. and you write the pages. Like you decide what it's going to look like. You decide what it's going to feel like. You decide how you're going to show up on the pages versus kind of just letting it happen.
Right.
And so I did that for a couple years and I loved it, but I was feeling like I wasn't utilizing enough of me in that space, because as beautiful as the events were, and I've worked for a lot of the top designers in Chicago, I've done all sorts of events for a little bit of everybody, all the who's who in Chicago. I've been in like magazines, the wedding magazines, they've done full page stories on me. I've made it into these magazines. I've done all these amazing things and for myself and for my business, which is great, but I felt like I wasn't doing enough for other people, because that's a big part of my recruiting. I love recruiting because I can help align someone else with their passion, with what they want to do. That's the part, that's the reason I want to give back my knowledge base, right? And help prepare them. If you look me up, the accolades I get from candidates didn't come from people who got jobs at the company I worked with. It came from people that I helped, that had interviewed, and I helped prep them, and they used it for another role. And they were saying, Leslie, oh my God, you helped me. Thank you so much for your help in prepping me. And I got this job over here. And so that's where a lot of my, like, yes, I'm doing it came from, where I felt like I'm living through a purpose and how I was created. And so I wanted to do something that was closely aligned to where I was. How can I use the things that God has gifted me, right? So I get to show up in corporate a certain way and to be a leader in that space. I get to model. I get to be charismatic. I get to make people feel seen. How do I use these things to support someone else? And when I was thinking about it, I kind of came up with the idea that maybe I can do some kind of beauty retailer. Is that a thing? I was like, is that a thing? Can I do that? Maybe I can do that.
But how did that idea come? Had you just been really interested in beauty before that?
No.
And was it because you were in modeling?
It's a hodgepodge of life, right? And we all know I had relaxers forever in a day. Then I went natural, and then someone messed my hair up, and I went bald. And you know what I mean? Like, I've been all over the board. And I've gone to the casting calls, and there's no one on set that can really do my hair. So I had to learn the hard way to start getting my hair done before I go. You know, those things. So I have that as an experience. My mother went to school and was not able to complete. I'm like one of 4 girls. She went to cosmetology school when I was growing up. So I have all these spaces that I've existed in. And someone I was talking to was like, and I was just like brainstorming, like, what am I going to do next? And he goes, you could do a beauty supply store. You know, the ones in the community, they making a killing. And I was like, because I was coming out of the luxury space and because I had been in talent acquisition where I cater to people, I was like, there is no way that I would do that. I would never. Because like literally with that model, I would never do that because it's not really a shopping experience. It's not you don't walk in and feel like
special.
Ooh, you know, it's not that. You know what you're getting before you get there. You go and you hurry up and buy, and you get out of there.
Yes.
And hurry up and buy. You know, like you get and you're out of there.
Yes.
And so I was like, I would never do that. But that was the model that the person was referencing. And so as I started to I said maybe, but I would have to do it my way. And so I decided to go out and start looking at beauty stores, beauty retailers that were out there. And I went, and there was a bunch of them in the area in Chicago, and I went into the stores and I'm asking all the recruiter questions. So tell me about your brand ethos. What are your core values? What is your favorite core value? I'm like a recruiter tried and true. Anytime you talk to me, that's the questions I start to ask. And one of them, I was speaking with the store manager and she goes, you know, they have all these clean beauty brands. A lot of them are women-owned businesses, all these things. And she holds up this box and she goes, and in this box are all Black women entrepreneurs. And I go, okay, that's great. I said, are there other
shelves?
Black women entrepreneurs in other places on the shelves? And she's like, oh no, they're all in this box.
Oh,
and she was like confident, like
Not the one box.
yes. And I remember walking out of the store and I was with my partner and I was like, how dare they box us in?
Right.
What?
Contained in this one space.
Box. They didn't even have the products like outside of the box,
It's
like
such
on the shelf.
a huge metaphor.
It was in
together.
the box. They were just in
Yeah.
the box with nice branding. They were just in that box. And I remember saying that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to create a beauty store, a beauty retailer. Or I called it a store. And I said, and it's going to be all Black people. And then, but I was being facetious. But then once I started doing the research, I was like, can I create a Black beauty store with all Black entrepreneurs. And so that's how I got down the road. And once I started doing like the research and meeting entrepreneurs and understanding where the gaps were and what I would create, that's kind of how I came up with the idea of the Black Beauty Collective. And I put the space together. I developed the model in terms of how they were going to come in, who I wanted to benefit this initiative, because that was something that was really important. Who gets the benefit? So a lot of times, the reason why there's so many bottlenecks, right? We look at who's benefiting from the opportunity. It could be me as an entrepreneur who gets, I'm going to charge you for show space, and I'm going to charge you for marketing, and I'm going to charge you for this, and I'm going to charge you for that, which is the things that keep Black people out of the industry because we don't have access to capital. So when you start thinking about, okay, so you don't have any money, how can you pay to scale into a bigger store or a bigger beauty retailer? It feels almost impossible. And so I wanted to create a space where the entrepreneur was prioritized. And so the way that the model is structured, which the concept isn't anything new, they rent shelf space. Nothing is new about that. Plenty of people out here rent shelf space. But what's different is they get 100% of their retail sales back. And we drive a robust marketing strategy for the Black Beauty Collective. I don't sell any products. I literally use my face and my likeness to drive traffic into the collective. Because the traffic is who are the people that are the entrepreneur's customer, and they're going to buy the product, and the entrepreneur is going to get 100% of that back. Minus sales taxes and fees, but we're talking minor peanuts in comparison to what you'd be paying retail? To be in a major retail.
Oh,
and
that's
so
smart.
That's the beautiful part about it. So we have the retail store and e-com, and any sales that are generated, the entrepreneurs get it back. And that's what the goal is. We don't take the place of their marketing. We become an extension of their marketing. So if you go to any of our social, it's all about the entrepreneurs, their products. And so that's what we're pushing, a strategy that prioritizes the entrepreneur. And so we offer PR support, marketing support, social support. We do email marketing. I have a pretty solid team, and all of us are designed and in position to help the entrepreneur. Every last one of us.
So important.
You get a whole model to just be like the face of your brand, to use your product, to,
a platform.
A person who literally gets paid to do this is now doing this for you for no additional cost. And so it's just a creative way to push Black entrepreneurs into a space that they wouldn't otherwise a lot of times have access to.
And how do businesses get to be a part of the collective?
There's absolutely an application process.
Okay.
The applications are currently open. They will be until the end of May, possibly into June, give or take.
Okay.
Definitely open, and we go through. There's an application process. They tell us about what their current marketing plan is, how they're structuring their business. They have to tell us about it, right? Got to be a legitimate business, solid product. I have them send products in so we can see the packaging, make sure the label is proper, all of the things, right? Yes. It's the entire process there. It's like 4 steps that they have to go through. Which isn't crazy, but it's enough for us to really understand the business acumen of the entrepreneur, because that's something that's extremely important to me, because I move fast. If I'm all the way 100%, like I'm moving, like I'll do an event and I'll make sure, hey, you guys can come into this event. Are you prepared? Hey, we got this opportunity. Hey, this person we're looking to supply boxes for this cost. Can you participate? So like, how evolved is your business, and where are you as an entrepreneur? Are you scared?
Oh,
that's a big one. Like, are you afraid? Are you serious about this business? Because I'll ask questions. I do an actual interview. Like, I really want to know about you as an entrepreneur. And so I'll interview them and I'll go, tell me what could be better for your business? And I get answers sometimes like, well, I'm kind of inconsistent with my brand. Where are you? That's what I mean when I say business acumen. Like, I'm really interested in how you come in about your business. And so I take all this information, and some of it's not deal breakers. It's just an opportunity for me to understand where the gaps are, and to see if there's a resource that we can pull in. Maybe I know we work with the YWCA, we work with the Polsky Center in Chicago. Is there a resource I can align you with to get you some additional support? And so a lot of times it's just that as a conversation. And so once we move through the entire process, they become a collective member. Once you're a collective member, you get your products on the shelf, you become a part of our collective. The best part about it for me as the person who's created this is entrepreneurship is such a solo individualized activity. A lot of times, especially when you're young in your company, you can't hire people. You gain access to all these entrepreneurs that you can literally call and ask questions. And, hey, my label is doing this. What would you suggest to someone that's been in the game for 10 years? You know?
Right.
And so access to other people to just pick their brain and ask questions. We have a group of the entrepreneurs that's a part of the collective. They're going to pop up in Essence this year. They got together and got a booth, and they're going to be able to rotate in and out. So now you got a different level of access that you wouldn't have otherwise had as an individual. And so joining a collective is so much more. It's that community that you're joining.
Yeah,
Yes.
a network.
The network, and that a lot of us don't have.
Yeah.
And so what you talk about from coming into the space, some of the entrepreneurs there, you saw they're energized, they're talking to each other, they're pumped about it.
Yeah.
They met at the grand opening last month.
Right.
But you would see them together and think that,
They've known
they've
each
been knowing
other.
each other for years.
Yeah.
These people are literally coming in and their spirit is like, I needed this. I needed to be a part of something bigger than what I was doing. Like, I'm making strides, but now you got all these people that's interested in your success, and they're resharing your content so that you can get visibility, and they're sharing your wins. So now you get energized again. One of the entrepreneurs, Marla Renee, they're out of Richmond. They've been at it for 10 years, and they had a retail store. They had a flood last year, lost tons of product, had to like go all the way back online. It was like awful for them, right, in terms of business. And they came out to the grand opening, and afterwards they sent me an email saying, you pumped life back into us. This was well thought. I loved all of this. This was an energy that I didn't anticipate. Like, I'm a part of a lot of things, but I haven't been a part of anything that felt like this. And they wanted to thank me. I appreciate you. I appreciate your team. And so being a part of something that's bigger than you, that energizes you, that has your best interest, that want to see you win, that's talking about you when you're not in the room, in a positive sense, and you have a seat at the table without having to sit at the table, is something that's impactful and is powerful in itself. And so for me, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. I could do this all day.
Absolutely.
I love that. And I think at the core of what you're doing, and we've talked about this in so many different facets, like not just in terms of business, but as like a Black people.
Yeah.
Like, I always say, pure down dirty capitalism is not in our DNA.
No.
We are
Yes.
a community. We
Yes.
are of cooperative economics. We
Yes.
are a
Collective
people
work.
that like support one another. We cultivate. You're the baker, I'm the shoemaker. You're the blacksmith. Like,
We got it.
that's how we operate. And so you're taking out the elements that ruin the joy of being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. Because
Absolutely.
going into major retail, they're over here trying to nickel and dime you for every single thing.
That's right.
And essentially take away you being able to be profitable.
That's right. But that's the point. Is to be profitable.
Right. And so you're not only reinvigorating the industry in a way that's like so forward thinking, where people can actually create and not be stressed about, oh my God, am I gonna have enough money for blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But also reinvigorating this idea of we are a community.
Yes,
we don't have to be the token Black girl in the room. You don't have to be the only
in the box.
in the box.
That's right.
There's only one
Right.
skincare, only
That's
one
right.
hair care, only, and so we're able to support one another, which is like who we are.
That's
like
right.
it's what we do.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work to be the token Black person. It's a lot of emotional work. It's a lot of physical work. It's a burden to be that person. And so, and I always push the narrative that there's enough space for all of us. There's enough money for all of us. There are enough customers for all of us. We could all have the same product, and we can all visualize it and create it differently. It could be the same thing. There's enough room for that, though. There's not enough credit in our community that there's enough room for us. But, and I always use the pizza restaurant as an example. There could be a pizza restaurant on every corner. There is no new way to do pizza. But they do single slice, they do pizza pie. They do this, they do New York slice. It's enough room for it. And so we, as a Black community, have to understand that there is enough space for all of us to be successful, and we can cheer each other on, and we can collaborate,
Yep.
and we can work together and have community.
I'm so gagged right now because Sade and I have these conversations all the time.
Oh, when I'm always
I'm like, I can't remember what your metaphor is.
the
pizza one.
water.
Yeah.
There's tons of water brands.
Tons.
It's just water.
Ma'am. They do a
like,
little
there's room for all of us to be
Jewish
in the
on the
market.
label.
Fiji, Dasani, Smart Water.
And everybody has their favorite water, and they go on.
Poland Spring.
That's right. Depending on where you at, this might be your favorite. Depending on who's selling what, this might be your favorite. And nobody questions it.
No one questions it.
But it's like only area that we get the flack on where it's enough, right? And we can't split the black dollar is in the black community. There's enough room and enough dollars we spend on beauty. Like, it's $60 billion industry every year. And black people spend like 11% of that. So $6.6 billion. But we only own 2.5% of the brands. So obviously there's enough room for us to have multiple products on the shelf. Yeah. And we don't have to be a little snippet on the shelf, a little end cap on the shelf. We can take up space.
And in your instance, like, we can be the space that is propelling the products, right? Like, we can be within our own communities.
That's right.
The place for people to go.
I am legitimately like, okay, cool. We can't do this, so let's do our own thing. And we can support each other. We can use our platforms to push each other. Because why not? I mean, it's not complicated. It's just, how do you do it?
We built these communities where it was, during times of segregation when we were like, well, okay, fine. I can't shop in your store. I'm making my own store.
Period.
Then you burning the damn stores down and rioting and doing the whole thing. So it's like, we still rise in every single occasion. And I think, like, especially now that, we've seen this movement of people wanting to support buying black business. Like, listen, if it's black owned, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it.
Yes.
If it's not that great, then I might not buy it again. But I'm at least going to buy it. I'm going to try it out.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We got to at least try it. And the thing is, when they're not so great, there's tons of products that we don't love.
Right.
We just don't buy them twice. We go to the next product. And that's what we have to keep in mind.
Give it a chance.
When you're shopping black, you're not going to love everything. Everything isn't going to be designed for you to love everything across the board just because it's black owned. But you keep trying and find something else that you love. Because just because you bought this shade and it wasn't your favorite, there could be a different blend that resonates perfectly with you.
Yeah.
And just kind of keeping that in mind and not holding black entrepreneurs to the different standard.
Yes.
Because that's the word right there.
Yes.
Because we go into Target and we buy something, we don't like it, you put it on in the drawer and you go on to the next product.
Right.
You don't say, I'm not going to shop at Target no more. You just go.
That thing wasn't
keep
for
going.
me.
That
When I'm
wasn't
like,
for me.
how many
wasn't
products
for
I
you.
have, and I'm like, y'all come check these products out.
Yeah.
This might work for you. I have
Absolutely.
a kind of obscure question.
Sure.
But I think about, because beauty is so vast, right? Like, we walk outside and we find beauty in, like, a sunset, in a mountain, in a beach.
Yep.
And it's
I'm like, where are you seeing mountains?
I don't know, right? Outside the door, I'm at the beach, right? But I'm like,
Nonetheless.
it's so interesting to me that beauty can also become like an industry and like commodified and a thing that we could like buy and own and hold and like, I don't know. I just wonder if y'all have any responses to that as people that are within beauty and like the ways that beauty, like we're trying to make beauty something that we can own, if that makes sense.
That's an interesting concept. As soon as you said that, the first thing that came to mind is we have a brand in the store and it's called Aberrant. And so I don't know if you guys have heard the term, but the founder, Aaliyah, of the company, she was in grad school, going to school for education, and they were learning about children on the spectrum, right? And that was a term that was used, aberrant behavior, meaning to deviate from the norm. And so she named her brand Aberrant because because she wanted to say there's beauty even in that and not being a part of what society says is normal. And so she has these blushes, right? But you can also use them as a eyeshadow. But then you also can fill them in with your lip gloss and color your clear lip. And so it doesn't have to be one way. So that was like the first thing that came to mind and literally you see her logo is so fresh, like she killed it. And her colors are amazing. The palettes are just there. But that was the first thing that came to mind when you said that, like the abstract component of beauty and how it filters into a space of a thing that you can own. Like, what does that mean? We get to define it.
Exactly.
That's like the
It's
best
like
part. It's yours individually to define what beauty is. And like we did an art museum earlier today. we all can look at the same painting, and the way, depending on how God created us and designed us, we will see what we see in that painting. And it doesn't mean this is right or this is wrong or this is the right answer. It's just up to interpretation of you as an individual. And so when you talk about beauty, right, in terms of mountains and oceans and sand and hair and makeup and design, that's what I hear, is this individualized spiritual connection with God in terms of your creator, and it comes out just like this. Whatever's there, whatever that means. It's yours.
That's so beautiful. Because I was like, Glenn, what?
I know. I was like, I don't know where I was going with it,
No,
but you
but-
picked it up.
And piggybacking off of that, it made me think of this idea of creating the beauty standard, right? Like, we've shifted that narrative like insanely.
Yep.
Right? Like, there was a point where the Eurocentric standard of
That's
beauty
right.
is what we strived for.
Yes.
And for, through marketing, conditioning, what you're constantly seeing. And I think we're still, navigating that and struggling with that. But so many Black-owned brands have said, your hair doesn't have to be this way.
That's right.
Your skin doesn't have to look this way.
That's right.
You can be darker skin and wear these lip tints. And there's so much innovation. There's this really cool brand called Pound Cake Cosmetics.
Oh, yeah.
And she is matching your lip shade. She's doing reds right now, but I imagine she'll expand. And it's even down to like the color of your lip, because we don't all have the same colored
That's
lips.
right.
And
Red shows up differently depending on the color of your lips.
your lips and things that
Who knew?
right. and it's not that, you can't wear that red lip because but no, it's let me create something for the community that I'm selling to. And so I think in thinking about how we have, yes, commodified beauty, it's also how we've created these spaces for our community, for the people that look like us, that don't look like the quote unquote, majority. I mean, we are becoming the majority. So I think that us being minorities is going to be like futile in a very short years, but still, like we're recreating and redefining beauty standards amongst ourselves and our own community, and then having a space like yours to come into. And like when I was talking to the founder Flore the other day, she was like, we all have different needs for our hair, and so she has this kind of like DIY way of you can put, I'm not going to speak to this very well,
It's what? Strength, hydration. Oh my gosh, I always
growth
forget and growth.
Yeah,
those are the 3 serums that
and
you
there's
mix
a serum
in with the
you
mask.
add to your mask depending on what you need.
No, you're kidding.
But wait.
You can control like how much you're putting in. Is that what
you can put in the whole little droplet.
Okay.
But doesn't this remind you of how the relaxer system used to be?
Oh my God, yes.
Like the way you put the stuff in, you gotta mix it up, put all that
but
jazz.
it's like flipping it.
Yeah, but this is for the condition of your hair, the health of your hair.
And you can come in and get what you need. I know. It's just...
Look, I'm about to tell her business. She is on the, you guys remember the perm, the relaxer, gentle treatment box.
Is
she is totally the model on the box.
No way. I mean, that's full circle,
Isn't that full circle?
I mean, listen.
So she did that for years, and now she completely has a hydrating strength mask to help your hair grow.
I said, whatever
I love it.
You are selling, I'm buying, because her hair is just
beautiful,
gorgeous.
You know what's so cool about this? This is all like in the examples you all have shared. It's so very personal what everybody's creating, and they're doing it with so much care to then offer something to people who might have the same needs as them. And there's just like this genuine offering.
You know, that's what I'm going to say about the black entrepreneurs I've met so far, and I'm well into the hundreds at this point of the number of entrepreneurs, Black people that I've met, men and women. The one thing I know to be consistent is most of them identified a need in their own space, right? So my son had really bad eczema. I wanted to develop a soap that he could use. He couldn't use anything on the shelves. My mom had cancer. Her hair was falling out. This was happening to me. Whatever it is, it's always based on a need that they're identifying in their own individual space. And they're taking that, and then now they're sharing it outward to the rest of the world, right? So you think about like Monique from Mael. She talks about her trauma in terms of her losing her baby. And so now she created this line, and now she's sharing it. She used that for her healing, and now she's sharing her healing with other people. And so Black people, in essence, especially Black women, we're such nurturers just in general, and the way we give ourselves to our families and the world around us. And that's what with the Black Beauty Collective, you walk in, and there's literally like an energy in the space, because everybody here created this with love in mind and with their heart in mind and how they're going to give to the people around them in mind. And now you get to experience this too. So no matter how you came up, no matter what happened, no matter what you was doing before you got here, this is where you are right now. And so it's such an interesting, just that whole community piece that's behind it. I mean, you can feel it. Just walking in a space, you smell it. The way you're greeted, the way we talk about the products. And I wanted to, I know, I literally could walk you through the store and talk about each entrepreneur. I know like, these people.
You know these details.
I know these people because I listen. That's the recruiter in me.
Yeah.
I want to know. Tell me about you outside of this. Who are you as a human? Because it's important. Because we're oftentimes measured on who you worked for and how much money you make and what kind of car you drive. Where do you live? Oh, you know what I mean? Like we get measured off of those things because we don't fit into somebody else's narrative of where and how we should show up. And oh, you're good because you went to this school. We're measured off of those things. And so it's important for me to understand who you are outside of those things. Because those things, they tricky. Because you can easily afford a car or a house or whatever. But who are you? What makes you tick? What kind of person are you? So I know the entrepreneurs like that are a part of the collective. And because when I do things like this, I want to be able to talk about them. I want other people, this story may resonate with somebody else that's out there who maybe their mom has cancer. And I talk about this for myself. I had severe acne for years. And from 12 to like 34, 35, I eventually used Accutane to get rid of it, which is harsh. And it was horrible for my body, right? But never once did I think to myself, let me develop a skincare line to try to solve my problem. I never thought about it. And so it never once crossed my mind. And so I admire all the people who look to solve, number one, right? They look to solve the problem that they're experiencing versus finding European way of doing things. That's number one. And then number two, to be able to, so I may say something like that and talk about somebody's mom has cancer. She can't use anything in the store. They develop the product. You know what? Let me try to make something for my mom. You know what I mean? Like, let me try to fix this and solve this on my own. And so it could be absolutely inspiring to other people. So that's the other reason why I want to make sure that I know the stories. And if you go into the store, the beauty advisor is the same thing. They're going to tell you about the people, the entrepreneurs too, because it's important to us to know who these people are so we can share that. That's the community element of us.
Yes, the story.
The story behind the brand. Not just it's a brand and are they good enough? Is the packaging proper? Or, whatever. Because we got some amazing products, but because they don't have capital, the packaging might not be great.
Right.
And so literally when I started talking about how, she grew up in the Caribbean. She makes this because her mother used to make it. And this is what she used. And her son had eczema. And now it was so severe where he couldn't go to school anymore. She was having to take off work. She quit her job, took care of him full time. This is how she was able to make it through. Wow. Because she started selling this to other moms who were experiencing the same thing. So now the game changes where you're like, well, forget that packaging. My baby got eczema. Let me get that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now the narrative changes. So we don't have capital, but we're rich with history and all these amazing things.
Yes.
So what else can we push if we don't have the money? What other value is there? And that's what it is. That's why I know about the entrepreneurs that are a part of the collective. Because I think it's important.
Truly, 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 like so inspiring in so many ways, and a lot of the work that I'm doing and thinking about. So we'll definitely have to offline, but I gotta be nosy and get in your business.
Come on, girl.
So what's next? Like, what is on the horizon? I mean, I shouldn't say what's next in that way, because what you've done is huge and like you've just begun. But I'm getting a vibe that
bigger
I would
things.
say,
I'm like, we're getting this it's nationwide.
You're right.
So the collective is going to definitely grow. So we're in Chicago. We're going to expand into other markets. I'm on a 10-store trajectory in like 5 years.
Oh my God,
that's the game
so
plan.
cool.
Because that's the only way for Black entrepreneurs to scale their businesses into the major metropolitan markets.
Yes.
Is a cost-efficient way. And for the collective to grow, and now if you're in Kansas, right? You're in Chicago, you're in New York, you're down in Atlanta, you're in DC, you're in Houston, you're in Dallas, you're in LA. Now the narrative changes for you, right? And we can activate Black people in different markets because we all like, give me something where I can shop Black and it's Black. We need it.
We want it.
And so we're desperate for it. And it's like the thing that we didn't even know we needed. And so that's the growth trajectory in terms of We'll activate
I'm
all
so
over the
excited.
place. We'll get partnerships. We'll get sponsorships. We'll bring more resources. That's what the end goal is, to bring more resources into the collective, which means that we're able to support the entrepreneurs differently, align with corporations, because plenty of corporations got resources that'll help these entrepreneurs. And so doing things like that, that's where I'm seeing this go. And so for myself, this is probably the first time in my career where I felt like I arrived. I've done some amazing things in my career, don't get me wrong. I've worked for some great organizations, but my brain was always looking for the next. I was anticipating the next. Even when I would start, I would literally go, okay, I'm going to be here a year and a half. Like, I was always going the next. This is probably the first time where I feel like I've arrived to where I belong and I can breathe. Like, okay, devote your attention in this space, because this is where you're needed. And I had to get here. I had to journey over here. And so I had to arrive here, and I feel like I'm at a destination now, and I'm not going, okay, on to the next city, on to the next space. But I can sit here and I can build this.
Because this is where you belong.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
I think God has finally dropped me right where he needs me.
All the steps you took to get to this space led you to the destination.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And
Destiny.
so say it again.
Destiny. Like,
Yep,
it all
that's it.
clicked.
It all just boom right there.
Whoa.
Destiny.
Destiny, destination. I'm having a moment. Wow.
Yep.
Okay, well, please tell the listeners where they can come shop, where they can follow you, follow the brand, so that they can be tapped in and get all these incredible products.
Yes. So, of course, when you guys come to Chicago, you have to come check us out at
Yes.
5305 South Hyde Park Boulevard, which you may know Hyde Park because that's where the Obamas lived before.
Yes, everyone says that.
And look, just in case Michelle is listening, we would love to have you here.
Michelle, are you listening?
I feel like she will pull up.
Definitely pull up with the Secret Service. We got something for them too.
And come shop.
And come shop.
Yeah.
So that's us in Hyde Park. If you are not coming to Hyde Park, check us out online. Shop Black, and that's blkbeautycollective.com. And you'll see all the yummy products, all the amazing entrepreneurs are there, their stuff is there. You'll just be able to have at it, because we love all of them. And so they're on our e-com platform too. And when you're ready to come look at us, on Instagram, go to Black Beauty Collective, and that's BLK Beauty Collective. And then check me out at the Leslie Robertson on Insta.
Thank you. Oh
Thank
my God.
you so much.
Sickening.
I
feel like we're gonna offline in like
I
a
know.
extreme way
in
after
so
this.
many so many ways, but
So
I
inspiring.
truly want to say that, you know, the work you're doing is so important and so needed. I think you're going to inspire so many people to think differently outside of the beauty industry, but in all ways, and outside of CPG, like just how we're functioning as a people and supporting one another. So you've planted a major seed, and I'm excited to see what's to come for you and how you inspire so many people.
And to shop, because
Oh, you already know.
Bro.
You already know. I put the
products.
capital C in consumer, okay? Like, if there's a product, I'm going to try it. I'm going to buy it. So
Yes.
I'm ready.
I love all of that. Thank you for having me. You guys have been absolutely amazing.
So have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
All right. And you already know what to do, where to find us. If you were listening, definitely check us out on YouTube. It really helps. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the Twitter. Chelsea be doing stuff on there. I honestly don't know how that platform works.
That's
but-
her domain.
Right, that's her domain. But we are at Black Girls Text 1 on Twitter, Black Girls Texting on Instagram and TikTok. Become a patron if you want all the juicy tea. Join us on Geneva, get merch, do all the things.
Tap into the newsletter.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for keeping me on top of the newsletter.
BlackGirlsTexting.com newsletter. You'll find out about events, get recaps of episodes if you missed them, and we each month give you a little bit of insight into what we're thinking about, what we're excited about. So check that out too. Yeah.
All
And that's
right,
that on
y'all.
that. Bye.
Bye-bye.